Okay.
All right, so Mirsada is very sorry not to be here with us today, but she has a health issue of her mother and she's trying to attend her. So I will open the masterclass on her behalf. Today we are going to talk about Korean gastronomy, and it's coming from INSIGNARE with Sérgio and Elisabete. Why two Portuguese are talking about Korean gastronomy? This could be the question of everyone. Well, this is a way on how to adapt to new market demands. As we know, Fatima, it's one of the most visited places in Europe. And that's why many Korean tourists go there. And Korean gastronomy has become a trend in Fatima. So let's hear from Sergio and Elisabeth on how they are doing it. I assume you are going to tell us more about advantages or disadvantages that this may have caused to Fatima. But this I made it up, so I don't know what else to say. And afterwards, we are going to present you with the coming masterclass that will be held by Hayo from Landstede. But first, let's listen to Sergio and Elisabeth. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Lida. I just have to ask you to stop sharing so I can share mine.
Definitely. Right now, I was going to do it, Sergio. Okay, there you go.
So I'm still waiting for my colleague to join in. She has a meeting with a parent, but I was told she will step in as soon as she finish that meeting. First, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. So welcome everyone. I will try and do my best not to bother you a lot during the next 45 to 50 minutes. And like Irida said, we are going to present you with how we answered to a market request. Like Irida said, we are in Portugal. We are located in Fatima. Fatima is quite well known for the Catholic world, and we are obviously very far from Korea. So I will try to explain why this happened, why the market asked us to provide this answer. And this will be able to. Okay. First, a very short presentation of who we are. We are a vet secondary school, which means that our courses, our students, after finishing the 3 years course, will have 2 diplomas, a job diploma and a high secondary diploma. And from here, they can go to the labor market or they can enter the higher education system. We have 4 courses offered: cook, pastry cook and baker, waiter, and tourism. These are the courses that we now have. And this is some images of us, our students, obviously. And actually, this one in the middle, I hope you can see the laser. It's one of our students preparing a Korean dish. So first of all, can you please go to menti.com and write this code, or just read the QR code.
Okay.
Have you entered? No? Yeah. So the question is, imagine going to South Korea. What is your biggest expectation in one word or one expression. And obviously for those who have already gone to South Korea, please resume your visit in one word again or one expression. Do you see the Menti or no? The answers of the Menti?
Yes.
Okay, good. Not sure if everyone has answered. Yes, I think we have already an interesting trend. Food, different traditions. Yes, even today, they are very keen on their traditions. It is a culture shock, especially in the most traditional areas of South Korea. Of course, the food, to be honest, it's not my favorite type of music, although for those who have teenager children, you are most aware of the K-pop songs. Luckily enough for you, they are more or less the same, so it's not a huge problem. Korean pop music, but yes, it's actually one of their biggest exports now, K-pop. But South Korea is very, very keen on their culture. I will try to explain during our presentation why is it so important for them, these cultural issues, and what were the challenges and we faced and how we dealt with it. Just to let you know, this is the entrance. This image that you see in the presentation is the entrance of the Imperial Palace in Seoul. It was totally renovated because, as we'll see, it was destroyed during the war, but it is now in the center of Seoul and it is totally renovated. Put this here. Can someone put me again? Okay. So, although I'm almost certain that most of you know the history and what happened to Korea, we will try to explain how we get here because this was very important to present to our students. So when we first were dealing with the situation, we had to explain our students where was South Korea, why are they so keen on their culture. Although I have to say with some pleasure, most of my students were able to point out in the map where South Korea was. I was a bit afraid that I would have some TikTok videos like we see with some American students when we ask them to point out Portugal, Spain, France, or even Europe, and they have absolutely no idea where it is. Most of my students knew it was in Asia, and they had just to look exactly where it was. So some historical framework. Korea the Korean Peninsula was an independent kingdom for much of its long history. But in 1905, Japan compelled Korea to become its protectorate and formally annexed it in 1910. After World War II, the Korean Peninsula was divided into two occupation zones. Why? Because after World War II, Japan and Japanese-controlled territories were divided. Most of them stood under U.S. control, but South Korea, but the Korean Peninsula, because it was so close to China, was divided into two occupation zones. A US zone and a Soviet zone. The Soviet one is the one that has the border with actual North Korea. So in 1948, Korea was divided for the first time into two political entities, North Korea and South Korea. So two different political entities, two different governments, and two different let's say, two different ways to see the world, if you want. The South one more focused on the Western style, and the North more focused on Chinese style or Chinese support. In 1950, North Korea invaded South Korea and sparked the Korean War. The Korean War was a very big war, and it involved for the first time the United Nations active participation. Why? Because in 1950, the USSR had decided to have some time away from the United Nations. So it could not prevent, when the Security Council was gathered to discuss the invasion of North Korea, USSR didn't attend that meeting. And in that meeting, it was decided to ask for Western countries to send troops to support South Korea. Amazingly enough, USSR didn't veto it, as it could, because it didn't attend the meeting. So a United Nations multinational force led by the United States was sent to fight with the southern side. And from 1950 to 1953, the two sides, South Korea plus UN multinational forces, several countries, Australia, France, Canada, United States, Great Britain, fought against North Korean and China forces. To be more precise, almost only in 52, China did actually send soldiers to fight. Until then, they only provide with weapons, food, and ammunition. But after the counterattack of the UN multinational forces, when they started attacking for the first time the North Korean soil, then China actually sent its soldiers to fight along with North Korea, and the USSR also had a biggest intervention. It was a very long war. It was a civil war, but with the intervention of these foreign powers. Most of the, all of the major cities in both sides of Korea were completely destroyed. So just to give you an example, in Seoul, the capital of South Korea, most of their old traditional houses, palaces, were completely destroyed. The palace that I showed you in the first slide was completely rebuilt after, of course, the war. So now they have only very small parts of Seoul and in South Korea that are not brand new, rebuilt from the 50s. In 1953, an armistice was signed, agreeing that Korea would remain a divided country. I have to stop here again. So when I start talking about Korean food or Korean gastronomy, I'm obviously mentioning South Korea. Because as you know, North Korea is a unique state. It's a communist monarchy where since 1948, the head of state is part of a family. We are now on the current president of North Korea is the grandson of the founder of North Korea. We had the grandfather, the father, and now the son. From 1948 to 1988, South Korea was a dictatorship, a military one, if you want. But since 1988, and I will explain why is this so important for Fatima, since 1988 is a full democracy. Now, a quick jump to actual dates. South Korea is the world's 13th largest economy and a leader in high-tech industries. You probably have in your homes something that is made in South Korea, from mobile phones, cars, air conditioning, whatever. It has around 50 million of inhabitants. Its languages are Korean and English. Its religions are Protestant, almost 20%, Buddhist, 15%, Catholic, 8% and growing, and none whatsoever, around 67%. From this, the only religion that is gaining weight in the Korean society is the Catholic one. Its GDP per capita is 32.237 United States dollars. Just to give you an idea, Italy, which we have some people here, is or has 32.903, and Portugal, just to give you a very bad idea, has only $24,744 per capita. So why Fatima as a destination? Here you can see, and obviously all of you can read what it is presented in this image. This image is the movie poster and the white letters. You can read Fatima, okay? These are the movie poster. The movie is obviously about Fatima, is that you have the three little shepherds to whom Our Lady appeared. And there was an American movie that was named Fatima. It's this movie. And this is the poster that was broadcasted in South Korea. So Fatima is the Asian country with more pilgrims coming to Fatima, even more than the Philippines. And Philippines is one of the most Catholic, has the biggest Catholic population in the world. The Catholic Church is very important because it's a symbol of democracy. In 1988, South Korea was still a dictatorship. And young people, especially university students, were protesting to have a democracy, were protesting for democracy. And the political police arrested, tortured, and killed university students. And the first organization who came up speaking against that was the Catholic Church. So back then, Catholics were very few, but the Catholic Church was, and obviously still is, a very respected organization in South Korea. So people started to gather behind the Catholic Church, and the protests increased. And again, please remember that in 1988, we had a Pope, John Paul II, that played also a very important role in the fall of the communist states. So the Catholic Church is seen by the South Koreans as an icon of the democracy. So after democracy, they became obviously a democratic country, and people began traveling quite a lot. So in the beginning, which means 2000, 2010 decades, the Korean groups came mostly to Spain and have one day in Portugal. Now, nowadays, Portugal provides them with a full package because not all tourists are Catholics. So they come to Portugal not only to visit Fatima, also to visit Fatima, but not only to visit Fatima, and to visit Portugal as a destination country. So what then started the project after this boring Asian economy and sociological class? A growing number of South Koreans started visiting Fatima, mainly due to the increase in the number of faithful in that country. The impact of a culture that is practically unknown to most Portuguese hoteliers has led them to contact our school to find out which dishes should be included on the menus and available in the hotels in order to adapt themselves to Korean tastes and habits. Please bear in mind that Korean tourists that come to Fatima, a huge majority travel in a group. A huge majority have between 50s and up. So, and these groups are very traditional, and they are very keen on their traditions. So it was very important for the hotels and the restaurants who would host them to know their tastes and their habits, because like you showed on the Menti, it is a totally different culture than the European or Western culture. So it started with the companies asking us, which led to a regular interaction with external stakeholders of the school, and we were able to bring the school's responses closer to the needs of the market. Because, like I tried to explain, the South Korean tourist segment, it is indeed very challenging. So, what makes Korean cuisine so unique? The spicy flavors, like some of you mentioned on the Menti. Korean cuisine is known for its spicy dishes, with many of them featuring, although I practice, I have to apologize right now because I'm unable to pronounce some of the Korean names of dishes, ingredients, and stuff. So you can read it, and then you can try to pronounce it yourselves. Gochujang, which is another word for red pepper paste. Gochugaru, which are red pepper flakes or other hot peppers. Another aspect is fermented foods. Fermentation is a big part of Korean cuisine, with many dishes featuring fermented vegetables, such as kimchi, which is one of the most well-known, which adds a tangy, spicy, and umami-rich element to Korean meals. Oh, by the way, these are our students preparing a Korean dish, as you will see. Korean food is very, very healthy because it is characterized by plenty of vegetables, rice, grilled meat or fish. Please bear in mind that I focus a lot on grilled. Meals are often served with a variety of small sides, broth-based soups, and the fermented cabbage, the kimchi that I mentioned. They are known for incorporating health-promoting ingredients like fermented foods. They have a strong belief in the positive and negative effects based on belief of natural powers of yin and yang, that you all know, at least the sign, black and white, and the 5 elements of wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. So they bring very old, very traditional aspects of the culture into their food. Like I said, the way they see food had strong roots even before the introduction and spread of Confucianism. In the bottom picture, you can see some of the ingredients, and as you can easily understand, the only one you can read is tofu. All the others are in Korean. So this was one of the major challenges we have to face, finding Korean ingredients in Portugal. So now we are going to show you the dishes that our students learn to cook, and what are they made of, and what they look like. Kimchi, the first picture, so the top picture, is spicy, tangy, fizzy crunchiness, juicy fermented cabbage. It is served with every meal, and you can keep in batches in the fridge. So this dish is almost in all meals for the Koreans. Bibimbap is a bowl full of rice, soy sauce, vegetables, beef, a nice big dollop of gochujang, and a fried egg on top. Please notice the colors that it should be presented. So this dish, it's not only the ingredients, it's how they should be presented. So our students learned not only to cook it, but also to present in the bowl. It should be presented in a very colorful way. And for example, unlike several Portuguese meals, for example, we have rice with a lot of things and they are mixed. In this specific dish, there is no mix. Well, they are together inside the same bowl, but they are completely separated so they can see the colors. The teppanyaki consists of steamed rice cakes, in a spicy red chili sauce, cooked with spring onions and fish cakes. They are slightly sweet, spicy a lot, soft and chewy. So this is how they are cooked and they are presented. Bulgogi is marinated beef, usually grilled with onions and garlic, eaten with samyang, which is a spicy paste wrapped in lettuce. Chapchai is the famous glass noodles that you've probably seen in some images or in some movies or TV shows, whatever. They are presented with a soft and slightly chewy texture, made with sweet potato, and are served with meat and veg, often offered at the table as a side dish. Ramyun is simply the name for Korea's highly popular instant noodles. That again, it's quite popular in TV shows, movies about Korea, and so on and so on. Samgyetang, or ginseng chicken soup, is known for its super healthy ingredients: chicken, Korean red ginseng, spring onions, Korean jujube, garlic, and rice. Although it is a hot soup, it is favored for hot summer's day. So it is very hot, but they like it in hot summers, in a hot summer day. Korean fried chicken, one of the very few that is fried, is juicy chicken with a thin, crackly coating flavor with a spicy, sweet and sour sauce. It is eaten as a meal. And for example, here you see the type of a dish that can be eaten almost as all parts of meal, as a full meal, as a starter, as a post-meal snack, or like an enjeu, which is food served with a drink, often beer and pickled radish. So this specific meal, Korean fried chicken. So if you go to Korea, please bear in mind that KFC, it's not Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's Korean fried chicken. Bingsu, the most popular dessert, is a shaved ice in several flavors, such as milk, chocolate, green tea, red beans, berries. So this is the most famous dessert. So our students learned to cook all of these. As you can see in the images. So a traditional Korean breakfast typically consists of a complete set of dishes. Soups, such as seaweed egg soup, you will find grilled mackerel, fish, and various meats. These are accompanied by banchan, again, kimchi. So imagine, this is the breakfast. The breakfast for Koreans is a full meal, which is also very important for the hotels. And to explain the students, Koreans are early eaters. Typical lunch times start at 12 and finish at 1 p.m. And dinner time starts at 6:30 and gets done by a maximum of 8, which is very, very early for our hotels and our restaurants. So this is very important for them because they know that the meals must be ready sooner than the usual. In Portugal, some of you have already come to Portugal. In Portugal, we start having dinner at 8. It's the time they finish dinner. So as you can see, some of our students are preparing the meal. So here you can see some images of our school, our training restaurant on top with our Korean guests, and how this project began to actually start and began to take place. The first contact was made by the South Korean embassy because they are really trying, they are quite active, and the embassy is trying to promote South Korea culture. So they provided with the first workshop. Then they were able to bring to our school one of Portugal's best-known chefs in Oriental cuisine, Chef Paulo Moraes, which you can see on the bottom picture. One thing is that what you can learn from tutorials, from YouTube, from documents. Other thing is to have someone that is an expert in South Korean culture to take part and to explain to our teachers and to our students how to actually prepare and to actually present. So we have workshops with enactments and rituals of Korean culture. Again, it is really, really important, these aspects as well. We have classes with renowned Korean academics, Professor Gwen Oh-cheon, the chairman of this university. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. We annually take part in South Korean embassy competitions. Again, it's not a prize competition. We take part for our students to practice what they have learned and learn more things. And obviously, for sustainability, we integrate these skills in our students' CVs. It is important for also the hoteliers and for the students, which are future professionals, to know some basics of the Korean culture. The tea ritual It's a low tea table around which the guests and the host sit. The group organizer or elder, the older people, the older member of the Korean group, will sit on one side and will eat, pour, and clean the teaware as part of the whole ceremony. Hotels should provide a cozy room, actual Korean teaware, and tea. This can all be bought in the internet or through the internet. Some Korean rituals and etiquette. For Koreans, having good table manners brings harmony to everyone sharing the meal. For that, it's important to know and to follow these basic rules. I will eat well. Oops. I should be able to show you a video. No. Really sorry. This wasn't supposed to happen. I should be able to show you a video where a Korean lady is pronouncing these words, which means I will eat well or I will enjoy this meal. So it's a polite show of appreciation for the received food and for the person who cooked it. So our students know that when a South Korean tourist says this, it should appreciate and say thank you, because it's a thing that represents that the student knows what the guest is saying. Again, for the serving part, the elders go first, and especially it's about age. The older people are served first, because like most Asian, respect for elders is a core value in Korean culture that is also practiced at the dining table. The elder picks up her chopsticks first to start the meal. The first dish to start the meal is soup or stews, because this warms the tongue and preps your taste buds for the dishes to come. Then a very important thing, as you can see in the image, chopsticks are for dishes. Spoon is for rice and soup. And students should be able to know this and to practice this so that they can assist the Korean guests if needed. Don't hold the chopsticks and the spoon together at the same time, and never use the chopsticks like skewers, okay? Our students in the beginning start to have some fun. And never stab them in the bowl of rice. This is a funeral ritual, okay? So no stabbing the rice with chopsticks. A Korean meal typically has an array of shared dishes, so don't poke or dig around with one chopsticks. You only use your own, which means that when you are preparing the tables, you should have at least a pair of chopsticks per guest, and be able to have more if needed. Koreans don't like to hoard, so sharing is caring, but it is, although a cliche, it's absolutely true in a Korean meal. So make sure everyone can enjoy the shared dishes, which means that when you are preparing and serving the dish, you must have room in the table to have several bowls, to have several dishes. Because they take whatever they want at a time. So they don't take a lot to their own dish. They just take what they are going to eat. Balance the flavors. Korean meals have many tastes, many flavors from the combination of soup, stew, rice, meat, and veggie dishes. Temper the spiciness with rice and soup and balance the heat of meat with cooling veggies. So you have to be prepared to serve a lot of dishes during the same meal simultaneously. It's not like we are used to do it, at least in Portugal, is that you have one dish, then you have another one. You have to be prepared And the kitchen must be prepared to serve a lot of dishes simultaneously and to replace them whenever needed, lots of them. Eat calmly and chew thoroughly. Koreans prefer quiet enjoyment. So it's important not to have a lot of noise during their meals. Stay focused. Enjoying the food is company is more important than scrolling the phone. So no TV nor other distractions. This is very, very important for our students. This is a sign that you know a very important issue for Korean culture. When you are asked to pass a dish or whatever, you pass it with both hands, not just one. You pass it with both hands. And you do not, how can I explain this? Usually they wait for other people to refill their drink. They don't take the first step. So usually people refill other people's drink, and then in the end of that, then they fill our own. And finish with grace. After finishing the meal, you should place the chopsticks and the spoon beside the bowl or plate, not on top of it. And of course, they usually make sure there are no leftovers. Again, I will show you another video where you would learn how to say these words, which means I ate well. So they have two expressions, one in the beginning and one in the end. And again, the students must both, especially the waiter ones, should know that they are saying thank you for the meal, and they shall act accordingly. So this is what we did. We modernized our curricula with an adaptation that was required by the business market. We did not come up with this idea in one day. The market asked for us. So what we did, we made a pedagogical assessment, and we planned, obviously, with teachers and trainers. We practiced Korean modules and created workshops. So in the end, we designed a Korean food with Korean traditions, and it's a module that we now teach every year. And it is taught not only to our students, but that can be taught also to staff already working in hotels. This is very important for the students. We don't have any student still that has gone to South Korea to work, but we have several ones that went to work in hotels that requested this. In this image, in all these images, you can see typical aspects of culture, and this is a South Korean chef with two of our chefs behind them and our students after preparing a dish. So these are the final results, and what is so important in terms of sustainability. The project has the potential to be replicated for many years to come, as long as there is a local need for this or other tourist segment remains. So please bear in mind that we have indeed lots of Korean tourists coming to Fatima. So like I said, not only we provide this menu into our activities. Again, I cannot show you the menu, and I'm not sure what happened with the video, but I will try to send it to FVET. But we also provide training to hotelier staff. This training model was designed by us, and it has been taught every year. Every year, the school's training restaurant integrates our Korean menu and offers it to the public. And again, every year the school takes part in a Korean cuisine event held by the South Korean embassy. I'm about to finish. Just to let you know that the most difficult part was to find the ingredients that are not very common in Portugal. The students were very easy to motivate. It's a totally different culture. It's a totally different cooking technique. It's a totally different way of looking for food. So it was really interesting, and our students really, really liked learning on the first year and then learning later. It is not easy, I have to say, especially because you have to do a lot of dish at the same time and be prepared to serve it at the same time. I finished 55 minutes. Sorry, Rita, I took a longer time, but I'm totally open to your questions.
Okay.
Thank you, Sérgio. It was a very nice presentation, and even we have had lunch, you got us hungry again. I do have a question since I'm talking. Oh, sorry, Tina, do you have to ask a question?
When you finish, I'll ask as well. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So thanks again, Sérgio.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. What about the ingredients? Is it easy to find all the ingredients? Is there a difference? Do you use local ingredients that you adapt to Korean dishes, and how difficult or how challenging that process has been? Thank you.
In the first year, yes, it was really difficult because some ingredients we have it locally. For example, red peppers or green peppers. We have it here in Portugal. But other, for example, some very typical Korean vegetables, noodles, we have to buy it. And as you saw in some images, there are some Korean suppliers already in Europe to supply that to hotels, but we couldn't find all the ingredients that a full menu required, because we had to bring them by plane, and it was very expensive. Oops. Our CEO is here, so I have to be careful. She will probably answer this question better than me, because like some of you already know, I don't know the difference between a chicken or a turkey when they are at the table. So I skip my part. Please, I give the floor.
No, I will. Everything was very well said. Thank you, everybody. Just to add something, one of the works we made with the South Korean embassy was that to match the ingredients. If I have this kind of Korean cabbage, for instance, it's not totally different from the Portuguese cabbage, but there are some differences. But we have 3 or 4 types of cabbage. Which one should we match the Korean cabbage? So this is one of the works we made with the South Korean embassy and the chefs, to try to match our local ingredients with a kind of Korean vegetables, especially the vegetables. But then you have the sauces, and that is something that we need to buy in Lisbon or to bring from Korea to Portugal.
Thank you. And Sérgio, shame on you if you don't distinguish turkey from chicken.
Don't cook.
But do you know what is a cow?
Okay, I have 2 questions. Sergio, I have 2 questions. What is the feedback from students and teachers? Like, have any of your teachers been trained so that they can do those lessons as well? Or is it just from Korean experts?
My bad, sorry, I was muted. Yes, so the first workshops were given by the Korean chefs to our teachers and trainers, mostly. And every year now, although we take part in the South Korean embassy, competitions, the menu that it is done on a yearly basis is executed, is implemented by our chefs who were trained during the first workshops, and now every year they also have some update. But yes, our chefs can do the most common dishes, like the ones that I presented. And the first one, yes, the students really, really liked, and they were really motivated, especially in the first year when we have an internal competition. They really involved in the competition, and they worked really hard because, like I said, it's not when you ask our students to do a meal that they do it on a daily basis. It's not that you ask students to learn about a Spanish dish, or a Greek dish, or an Italian dish, or a French dish, because these countries and these cultures are close to us. When you ask them to prepare, to serve a Korean dish, this is totally different for them. And this is really motivating for them because they learn totally different things, totally different skills. They have totally different knowledge than that they are used to have. So yes, the feedback from the students was really, really positive. Yes.
Can I just add something, Tina? You already heard about the K-pop culture, especially the music. K-pop is something very popular among the teenagers here in Portugal. So to try to connect that kind of cultural music to the kitchen, it's very easy. It's very, very easy. And especially because it's something like an exotic things that they are going to cook. So it's attractive for them to have that extra in the curriculum, because they know some of the best restaurants and hotels in Fatima. They ask specifically for internships with someone that can have Korean skills in the kitchen. It's very, very important, and it's challenging.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Anything to add, Sergio, before we go on with the mentee for the evaluation?
I would like to thank you for being here for this hour. If I could invite you to have lunch at our training restaurant and taste some of the meals, I would most gladly do it. But unfortunately, it is very late, and the Koreans have already have their lunch. So no, just thank you.
Okay.
And,
so when we come to Fatima, we will be able to see that.
Who knows? Who knows?
Sure, if we have a Korean menu for that day, but if you want, of course. But you will eat in our pedagogical restaurant, yes.
Okay, thank you.
We are also willing to have more of these workshops and more events, because last year the Pope came to Portugal and Fatima in the World Youth Days, and they announced the next one will be in South Korea. So can you imagine all the young people in our school and our students when they heard the next Youth Days will be in South Korea? So you can imagine the thrill they are, even to dream on participating in something like that. So let's see if we are going on a job shadowing to South Korea.